Hello. Today we're going to do some restorative. We're going to do some movement to get the body warm, and then we're going to get down on the floor and we're going to do some things for regulating hormones, some things for relaxing the muscles and calming the nervous system. So throughout the practice, it might be handy to have something to support you. I wanted to go very simple. So I've got literally just a couple different size and shape pillows here. If you have yoga blocks or bolsters or something like that you like to use to support you, please feel free to use them. But let's do our breathing practice. And today we're going to do Nadi Shodhana. I know we do this one quite often. It's because it's fabulous. So go ahead and if you are used to this, you love Nadi Shodhana, you can take off at your own pace whenever you like. Otherwise, you can follow me. We're going to plug off one nostril with our thumb, or really any finger. Exhale. Inhale. Then plug off the other nostril. Exhale. And inhale. So the pattern is this: out, in, switch. Once you get a feel for the pattern, notice the body starting to relax and the breathing becoming slower, deeper. Come back to the natural breath. Let yourself just notice the difference in the body already. And I think it's often easy for us to say, well, that's just breathing, that's not really doing anything for me. But when we take the time to stop and really notice the changes of sensations in our body, we realize that it can do a lot. And one thing that's very impactful to me is that means that this sort of shift in my body is accessible. I can be, not with my eyes closed, but I can be doing this in the car if I start feeling a headache come on, or sinus issues come on, or maybe my brain just feels like it's going a mile a minute. I can do this pretty much anytime I'm not having a conversation with somebody. So I love how accessible it is. Let's go ahead and we're going to jump right into a little bit bigger movements than we usually do right off the bat. We'll go ahead and get the spine kind of squirrely, and I love these pendiculation movements. Those are the kind you do when you first wake up, or you can think of a stretching cat where they're kind of using a contracted feeling through the muscle but lengthening it at the same time. Just being curious about what is happening in the body. All right, let that sort of movement go down into the legs. And then let's make our way up to hands and knees. We'll do some movement a little bit more focused. We're going to do a cat and cow. Back and forth with your own breath. And then take that torso and circle it around. Other direction. And with the knees pretty much together, press back to child's pose. So if it feels uncomfortable here because you don't feel like you have space to breathe, open your knees enough that you're comfortable. But other than that, we're going to keep them together for now. And I want you to feel the stretch through the spine, around the shoulders, all the way up maybe to the base of the skull. And put some movement into it. Lean as far forward over the hands as your wrists feel comfortable doing, and then back again. We'll take this back and forth. And then this time when you come forward, we're going to take the knees wide. Press back, wide knee, child's pose. We'll hold on to this for a minute. Really let your tail sink down towards your heels. Come back up to your hands and knees. We'll bring them back together. We're going to have a little bit, we're not quite in a kneeling plank. We're not quite in all fours. We're somewhere in between. And we're going to bring a hip to one side and then the other. This can be very slow or it can be a little bit faster. Regardless of the speed, you're going to do it from your core. The tummy is going to be tight. Nice. All right, let's go ahead and press one foot back, and I want you to feel the stretch of your calf. So press back. I've got the toes tucked under, so I'm on the ball of my foot. And wiggle the hip. And then the other side. Feel the calf muscles. And then wiggle the hip. I don't know if you can hear my hips popping, but apparently they needed this movement. All right, press back to the balls of both your feet. Feel a stretch around your ankles. Maybe feel a stretch down your feet. And then forward fold. Stick the tail in the air. Now you might not go to straight legs. We're going to keep our hands on the ground. We're going to keep our belly glued to our thighs. So avoid this for now. We're just going to see how straight those legs go with my arches pressed down. Let's go ahead and take that up and down. Remembering to breathe. taking it slowly and giving a moment of pause at both sides. All right, go to as long legs as you can get them. And this time we'll let our belly come off our thighs. And we're going to bend one knee at a time. Notice that when I bend the knee, it's not just the knee bending, I'm letting the whole hip come down, back and forth. You might notice that your weight wants to roll to the outside of your foot as you do this. Keep pressing down through the arch. And bring it on up to standing, either flat back or rounding up, whatever's comfortable for you. We'll take the hands high overhead and then down to heart space. All right, I'm going to step back a little bit so I can still be in the camera frame here. And we're going to do some sun salutations to just really warm up that body quickly. That being said, my goal in this is to warm up the body. So not necessarily pushing you to your muscular end result or your strongest you can be, but just warming the body. So moving through your range of motion with some amount of fluidity. And take the arms up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen the spine, half lift. Exhale, back down. Take a large step back with the right leg. And we'll give a little bit of time in here. Lengthen the front leg to pyramid pose. Press back with that left hip. Press forward with the right hip. Press down with the arches. Bend back into the front knee and step back to your version of plank. So that might be on the toes, might be from the knees, or maybe your wrists don't appreciate this, and maybe it's from the elbows. Press the hips back to downward facing dog. So if you're from the elbows, it look a little bit like that. And feel free to come up to the hands at this point if you prefer. Take tiny steps, walk yourself forward to forward fold. Breathe in, arms up high overhead. Hands to heart space. One more time, arms up. Feel the stretch of the front of your body. Exhale, forward fold. Half lift. And back down. Left leg steps back. We'll give our body a chance to open and warm up here. Lengthen out the legs, pyramid pose. Bend into the front knee, step back to plank. Your version of plank, whatever that may be. Downward facing dog. Tiny steps forwards. Forward fold. Lengthen those legs as far as they will safely go. And if your hands don't meet the floor, feel free to support yourself by putting your hands on a block, on a book, on a chair. Allow your hands to be supported though, because we're going to sway our hips left and right. And then we'll take, I'm going to face you for this. We're going to take the right leg in front of the other leg. So my right knee is bent. My left leg is straight and flat on the ground. It doesn't want to be flat, but I'm making it flat on the ground. My hands are supported on something, whether that be the floor, a book, a wall. And I'm going to let this right hip drop to the floor. Let it go. We'll switch to the other side. So that's left leg in front, bent, right leg in back, straight, foot flat on the ground. Let that left hip drop down towards the floor. So at the moment, I'm feeling a lot of tension through the calves and the feet. And for me personally, I know why that is. It's because I refuse to wear shoes with decent arch support. And I dance too much. So my feet are exhausted from being used and abused without being supported. But it's a good thing to take note of for yourself. Where are you feeling discomfort? Is there something in your life that you do regularly that you could do in another way or in a better way to support and reduce that pain? Even if it's just stretching after the activity. And let it go. Feet side by side. In this forward fold now, you can probably go a lot further. All right, let's bring ourselves down to squatting again. So once again, feeling a stretch of the soleus, the Achilles, bottom of the feet. Now let's change it up a little bit. We'll do it with the knees wide. So sometimes this feels really good to me to kind of rock back and forth. Sometimes I find one spot that really needs a little bit more attention. I can hang out there. Maybe you don't feel this in the feet at all. Maybe this is a deep hip stretch for you. If you would like it to be a deeper hip stretch, take the feet a little further apart. Let the hips get a little closer to the ground. And think of pulling the navel forward between your thighs, and maybe your elbows help push the knees back a little bit more. What does it feel like to rock side to side here a little bit? If your knees don't appreciate this, that's okay. Back off so that your knees are comfortable. What's happening is probably your hips, possibly your ankles are so tight that they don't want to make this happen. And so they're asking the knees to twist in a way that knees aren't supposed to twist. So we want to back off the knees until our hips are ready to do the movement themselves. Let's go ahead and have a seat. We'll take the soles of the feet together and lean forward. So I'd like this to be a relatively comfortable pose, a deep pose, but comfortable. So that means that if you find your hips so stiff that you're here and having a hard time getting on top of the pelvis, so you feel like you're just trying to hold yourself up, grab a pillow, grab a bolster, grab a block, sit on that so that your hips are raised above your feet. And now all of a sudden you can get into this a little bit more easily. So what we're looking for here is a place where we can sit in, yes, stretch, but mostly a place of comfort where we go, ooh, I've been needing this, right? This feels beneficial to me. So one of the ways that I do that, because I do have knees that get irritable sometimes, is instead of having the feet very, very close, they're a little further away. And bring yourself up to sitting. We're going to shift the pose a little bit. Cross one ankle in front of the other. And again, lean forward. Now, if you're on this bolster or this prop back here, it's going to feel different from usual. Notice anywhere in the body that's holding tension. And with your next exhale, simply invite it to release. yourself back up. We'll take your right leg straight in front of us. That might mean that you have to move the left one out to the side a little bit more. I'm going to rotate one way and the other. We'll go one more time. Rotate towards the long leg. See if you can point your belly button at your pinky toe. And then reach your belly button in that direction. Obviously, it's going to end up down towards your thigh, but reach it in that long stretching line here. You're going to feel what we call the QLs or the quadratus lumborum over here. And then again, if you're like me and have those tight ankles and feet, if you can reach with your hand or a strap for that pinky toe side edge of the foot and pull that towards the navel while the navel's pulling towards it, you're going to again get that deep stretch through the foot and ankle that might be beneficial for you. And now allow yourself to round and collapse over the leg. Bring yourself back up. We're going to cross our ankles again, this time with the other one in front. That's probably your left ankle, but if you feel like you already did this side, switch. Again, we're going to bring that navel over and then let yourself fold over your lap. Oftentimes when we're asking the hips to release, the hips might let go, but the shoulders take that tension on for them. So I encourage you to notice the shoulders and allow them to melt as well. Make your way back up. And lengthen out the left leg. We'll rotate. So really this rotation is mostly a way of releasing that forward fold so that we don't get stuck there. So if twists aren't the way to do that for you, feel free to just reverse it and open the chest that way. Now go ahead and over rotate so your navel is pointing at that pinky toe, and reach the navel towards the toe. Again, we're looking for that stretch right here, but on the other side. And if you'd like to, help that toe come back towards your navel. And allow yourself to drape over the leg. Allowing the focus to shift to the back of the leg, that deep hamstring stretch. And make your way back up. All right, we're going to move to the upper body for a little bit. So if sitting up tall is challenging for you, I do encourage you to get something to sit on to lift the seat, including a chair if that's best for you. We'll take one arm up and over. And for right now, we're going to push the elbow back. Now it can be challenging. We're using these shoulder muscles to make this happen. It can be challenging then to relax the neck and head and jaw, but that's what we're going to try to do. And then if it's right for you, take the other arm up behind and grab for that other hand. If you're almost there but just can't get a good grip, feel free to grab a strap, a belt, a dish towel, hold it in the top hand, drop it down to the other hand, and use your fingers to slowly bring the hands closer together. This should be a stretch for the shoulders, not the elbows. I do feel some tricep stretch here for sure, but I know it's not feeling like a twinge or a tweak in the elbow because I can feel that stretch all the way down. Now take your chin and drop it towards the lower shoulder. Find the stretch. And let it go. Get some blood back in those hands. All right, let's take the other elbow up and over. And we'll start with that push. Soften the neck, the jaw, the head. And then reach for underneath. So it's interesting for this one. I'm feeling very different things. I'm not feeling the tricep up here this time. I'm feeling my bicep here. And drop your chin down towards that armpit. And release. All right, let's get the front side of the legs stretched out. Now that we've done the back quite well, we're going to take both knees over to one side. I'm going to come off this bolster here. Tuck under my tail. And this is to release tension from my low back. I want the front of the hip to open up as opposed to the back, the low back to be arched. So I'm going to think of pressing my navel towards my spine, increasing this stretch here. Now, depending on where you are in your flexibility there, you might like to go further and further and further back and lean against a piece of furniture, or maybe even the floor. Notice how my knee starts to come up If I am going to go all the way down, my goal is going to be to get that knee back down. So feel free to make yourself quite comfortable so that giving into gravity opens you up. Imagine that those deep breaths could stretch all the way down into any places that feel sticky or feel like it's scary to let go. Send that area your breath. We're going to switch to the other side. You can either bring yourself all the way up to sitting, especially if you're partially sitting up now, and switch the knees, or maybe you stay on your back to switch your knees. Whatever's more comfortable for you, but make your way over to the other side. So in the beginning of class, we did a fair amount of stretching our hamstrings in forward fold position. And we did it for two reasons. One, that's something that takes some time to get to release. And two, we were in a heart overhead position, which means that our hormones got a restart. We held ourselves upside down through the torso for a long period of time, and that switches up what they call hormone cascades and tells our body to reset. So we've done our balancing our hormones through being upside down. We're balancing our nervous system by taking our deep breaths. Allow yourself now to come to resting on your back. And allow yourself to re-explore. So just like we did in the beginning of class, allow yourself to stretch it all out in different ways. And grab whatever you need to make you very, very comfortable lying on your back. You might like something under your knees, especially since we just asked a lot of our low back in that quadriceps stretch. You might like something under your neck or a blanket on top of you. The weight of a blanket can feel quite comforting to the nervous system. Allow yourself to take a little scan through your body. There may be areas of your body that need some extra healing. They need a little bit of extra attention for those cells to regenerate and heal themselves. Maybe it's somewhere that has been asking for this attention for quite a while. Or maybe it's something that you haven't noticed until just this moment. Either way, imagine sending that area of the body exactly what it needs to heal. Maybe you know what that is. Maybe it needs white blood cells to take care of an illness. Maybe it needs calcium to repair a bone break. Maybe it needs nutrients through rich blood flow. Maybe you don't know what it needs. And that's okay too. Allow your body to be wise and know what it's in need of. And you can simply encourage it. Now enlarge your breath. Take in and release more air with each and every breath. Begin to stretch, move the body again. And slowly make your way up to sitting. We'll bring our hands to heart space. And today, for this practice of gratitude, let's bring our awareness to that space that needed a little bit of extra attention and healing, and send a thought of gratitude for that area of our body. Together, we're going to take a deep breath in and out, and I encourage you to Om along with me on the exhale if you'd like. We'll breathe in. Thank you.